Let's do some practice with author's tone and reader's mood. Example number 1. He approached the task with sheer determination. He had studied his plans carefully, spent hours preparing, and was sure of his approach. The hours he spent practicing were grueling and exhausting, but he was ready. This was the year he would win the pie eating contest. And this is the example that we looked at earlier. What is the author's tone and the reader's mood? So we had talked about the author's tone being somewhat serious and formal, whereas the reader's mood was a little nervous or anxious because the reader who's listening to this understands that the person in the story has spent a lot of time preparing for this contest. So let's do another example together. Our camping trip is off to a great start, said Dad. We had just begun to unpack. Then crack, sizzle. Lightning flashed through the sky. Thunder made the mountains tremble in fear. Run to the car, yelled Dad. We'll wait it out there. After an hour, the rain stopped. When we exited the vehicle, we found that our belongings had absorbed a vast amount of moisture. What is the author's tone? How does the author sound? Well, let's look at the words that the author has used. Crack, sizzle, thunder made the mountains tremble. Tremble and fear are definitely more negative. Run to the car, yelled Dad. The word yelled, that's another negative word. We'll wait it out there. After an hour, the rain stopped. When we exited the vehicle, we found our belongings had absorbed a large amount of moisture. That's not good. So I would say that the author's tone is more negative, definitely not neutral or positive. It is negative. And the reader's mood, how does it make you feel to hear this? Well, my mood at first, it sounded really exciting. I felt excited for them. But then by the time this was over, I felt sad for them. I could understand that it's a bad situation that they're in. Let's look at another one together. Workers digging a well outside the city of Xi'an, China, in 1974 struck upon one of the greatest archaeological discoveries in the world, a life-size clay soldier poised for battle. The diggers notified Chinese authorities who dispatched government archaeologists to the site. They found not one, but thousands of clay soldiers, each with unique facial expressions and positioned according to rank. And though largely gray today, patches of paint hint at once brightly colored clothes. Further excavations have revealed swords, arrow tips, and other weapons, many in pristine condition. So this passage is definitely not a fictional story. The purpose is not to entertain. We talked about author's purpose last time. The purpose of this is to inform, is to teach us information. So the author's tone, you can tell right away that this is not a fictional story. And that's because the words that the author is using are very factual. But I will say that they're using words, although this is more formal writing, that express that this is an exciting discovery. So the author's tone is serious and formal, but also excited. How is the reader's mood? How do I feel reading this? I actually feel excited and interested too, because it's really cool that they found a bunch of clay soldiers during an archaeological dig. So I think it's a really cool story. My mood is positive, definitely. Let's look at our third example. Huge stone slabs dot a greasy field on a plain located in southern England. Some stones lie scattered, others stand upright and form part of a large circle. For centuries, visitors had wondered how and why this giant structure was built. What is the author's tone and the reader's mood? So this also shows me that the purpose of this writing is not to entertain, it's definitely to inform, and they're not trying to persuade us. So if we think of author's purpose pie, to persuade, inform, and entertain, this again is an informational piece. They want to give us info. So what is the author's tone? Again, it's more formal, it's a little more serious. Let's look at some words that show us this. Huge stone slabs dot a grassy field on a plain located in southern England. Some stones lie scattered, others stand upright and form a large circle. They're just giving us facts. They're not really giving us a lot of words that would let us know that the author feels positive or negative. For centuries, visitors have wondered how and why this giant structure was built. I would definitely say that the author's tone is neutral, 100% neutral. Last time, it was when we looked at the previous example, you could tell that even though it was more formal, the author was a little more excited. Here it's very neutral until the very end. For centuries, visitors have wondered how and why this structure was built. So the end is a little more mysterious, but most of it is very formal and neutral. How does the reader feel? What's their mood? Huge stone slabs dot a grassy field. At first, I'm just kind of like, to be honest, a little bored. Like, okay, there's these big rocks. But then at the end, they say for centuries, visitors have wondered how and why this giant structure was built. Now I'm interested. Now I'm wondering, what is this about? So, again, not negative or positive, a little more neutral, but I am interested. So, these were our author's tone and reader's mood practices. I hope while you read this week, you think about the words that the author is selecting, and is their tone positive, neutral, or negative?